Hi, Charlie here. Smuggling is the act of taking something banned from one country to another. Of course, there is a lot of risk in doing this, and a big chance you will get caught. That's why smugglers often have to get creative with how they take stuff across borders. Some of their ideas can be pretty funny, and others are just downright genius. Fake ambulance. If you see an ambulance behind you on the road, you pull over. You show ambulances a massive amount of respect. After all, they're going somewhere to save someone's life, right? Well, it turns out that's not always the case. Some ambulances you see may not be ambulances at all. In 2015, an ambulance was stopped going into the UK. The ambulance was searched, and inside, feds found £1 million worth of narcotics. A later investigation found these same people had been doing this over and over again, and all of their fake ambulances before had got across the border. Previously, border guards had simply let the ambulance through, but this time they checked and found the narcotics inside. The ambulance drivers were part of a Dutch criminal gang. They were taking narcotics from the Netherlands into the UK. One of the gang members even dressed up as a fake patient. Here, the fake patient is seen with crutches, but then just a few minutes later, he is seen walking totally fine. They fooled border guards and customs officials for years. The narcotics were found all over the ambulance. They were in the walls and in the floors, and even in medical equipment that had been hollowed out. In total, they imported £1.6 billion worth of substances into the UK. When they were finally caught, the ambulance gang were all arrested. The people they were meeting in the UK were also arrested, and even their customers were arrested too. But how did feds know who the customers were? Well, the gang actually kept a list of their customers in their ambulance. This is one area where the smugglers weren't so smart. Dutch authorities found they had many other fake ambulances in the Netherlands. These were confiscated as soon as the gang was arrested, as well as their assets totaling millions of euros. Fake pineapples. In 2018, a shipment of pineapples was seized in Madrid, Spain. The pineapples had been shipped from Costa Rica to Portugal, and then driven to Spain's capital of Madrid. But when customs agents looked at the pineapples, they saw something strange. Most of the pineapples were real, but some of them were merely hollowed out pineapple husks. Inside were cylinders of compressed narcotics. The narcotics had been sealed in yellow wax. This made them look like the interiors of the pineapples to the untrained eye. The wax also masked the odor of the narcotics from sniffer dogs. It honestly is pretty impressive. But the export company that brought this in was under suspicion for something unrelated. That's what made border guards check the pineapple shipment, and to their surprise, millions of euros of narcotics were hidden inside. In total, 67 kilos of Colombian powder were found in this load. It's not known how many times this had been done before undetected. 7 people were arrested, 3 in Madrid and 4 in Barcelona. Mattress Migration. In 2019, Spanish border guards pulled over a car. The car had 2 mattresses strapped to its roof. Border guards were stunned when they opened up the 2 mattresses and found people inside. 2 migrants had been hiding inside the mattresses. The men were coming from Morocco. They were hoping to get into Spain, but were caught by border guards. The driver of the vehicle escaped and ran away to try and get back to Morocco, but he was arrested by Spanish authorities before he could get back. The 2 migrants were in good health, but they were arrested and returned to Morocco. The men looked just as surprised as the border guards as their scheme was uncovered. One of the men even started rubbing his eyes, almost like he'd just woken up. Maybe they'd been taking a nap inside the mattresses. Drone smugglers. Smugglers aren't always trying to sneak things across borders. Sometimes they're trying to sneak things into prisons. In prison, inmates are very restricted in what they can have. Many things we take for granted on the outside world are not permitted behind bars. So that's why they sometimes use their friends on the outside to sneak things in. In 2017, a gang in the UK was found to be using drones to sneak contraband into prisons. They would sneak phones, narcotics, and money into jail for their friends. They would sneak phones, narcotics, weapons, and money into prison for their friends. In total, they smuggled over £1 million of goods into the prison. They did this over many years undetected. That was until feds set up secret cameras where they were flying the drones. Feds then released this video of the two men using drones to sneak things into prisons. They would stand around 1 mile away from the prison and use a drone to covertly fly things in. The ringleader, Craig Hickenbottom, organized everything from behind bars. Using prohibited cell phones, he told people what to sneak into the prison using the drones. As a result of this, Craig was sentenced to an extra 7 years and 2 months of prison time, so I doubt it was really worth it in the end. Fence fail. Illegal crossings are very normal at the US-Mexico border. In recent years, the border's security has been increased, but smugglers will always find a clever way to get around borders. In 2012, smugglers set up a ramp over the border. If you can't go through it, simply go over it. After they set up the ramps, they tried to drive an SUV over the 14-foot fence, but they ended up getting their Jeep stuck on the top of the fence. Border guards noticed this and drove over quickly. They saw 2 suspected smugglers trying to get the car free. When the smugglers saw the border agents, they ran back into Mexico, and they escaped getting caught. The Jeep was empty as the smugglers took the narcotics with them. Believe it or not, this is not the first time smugglers have tried this. In 2011, smugglers did the exact same thing. That time, the car actually got over the fence, but the smugglers were immediately caught and arrested. If you're enjoying this video, then why not subscribe and press the bell too? It really does help me out. Car seat. In March of 2020, an 18-year-old woman was stopped at the border between Mexico and California. She appeared to be the only occupant of her car, but something must have seemed off to border guards. That's because they pulled her car over for a search. To the human eye, everything seemed fine, but that's when feds brought in the canine team. The dogs began sniffing the back seat and barking. After border guards cut the seat open, they found a Mexican man in the seats. The 48-year-old man had sewn himself into the seats. Hidden car. On the border between South Africa and Mozambique, border guards pulled over a truck. The truck seemed to be carrying loads of brooms, but the cargo was in a strange shape. Their suspicions were proven correct. When the brooms were removed, a car was found underneath. They scanned the license plate and realized the car was stolen. Criminals were trying to take the stolen car from South Africa to Mozambique, presumably to sell it in Mozambique. Just look how many brooms they had to put over this truck to try and hide this car. When the driver of the truck was caught, he fled on foot, but was arrested hours later. Family affair. You would never expect a normal, nice-looking family to be smuggling anything. But don't underestimate what people will do for money. This nice-looking family was stopped at the border. Inside the family's vehicle, feds found a massive amount of narco cash. This family were transporting money from the USA to Mexico. They were transporting these millions of dollars for a Mexican cartel. But the money was seized by the government, and the vehicle's occupants were arrested. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below which smuggler was the most genius. Be sure to subscribe to my second channel for shorter videos. If you made it this far, then thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.